Well, tonight's review is going to start off with a twofer from the fall, the British band led by Marky Smith. The first one is Ben Sinister. Now, I could be wrong about this. I believe that Ben Sinister is the British or the UK pressing of the Domesday Payoff, and you can see on the cover where Domesday Payoff has been taped over by the words Ben Sinister. It's named after a Vladimir Nabokov novel. I'm not quite sure why. It doesn't seem to bear any relationship to Nabokov's works that I can discern, but what do I know? Interesting thing about this album, so the cover is black and white. It looks sort of like a mimeograph or a Xerox copy. The back has a little bit of blue tint to it. It's got the band listing on the back, but no track order. So, and then the inner sleeve is full of color. It's a very nice, heavy stock inner sleeve, actually. It's not cardstock, but it's pretty sturdy. And it's got some unusual graphics. So have a look-see. The song titles are on the inner sleeve. There's 5 songs on each side. And then some photos of the band and some graphics. And some numbers, just kind of random numbers dispersed on either side. So it's kind of difficult for me to wrap my head around this record. It's mid-80s fall, so it's not as abrasive as early fall. That doesn't make it any easier really to relate to, I guess, from an American perspective. It has a song on it called Riddler, which is track 4 on side 2, but as you can see there's a picture of the Joker on that side of the inner sleeve. Has some really unusual melodies. At times it's a little bit 60s influenced, garagey, like on the biggest track on here, Mr. Pharmacist, which was kind of a minor hit from this record. But then you've also got Shoulder Pads #1, which is the song that just started playing in the background, which is almost like a sing-along tune that you'd play while riding in a beach buggy on some dunes somewhere. It's really lighthearted and fun. And then it's reprised on the second side of the album, the last track, Shoulder Pads #2, which just really seems to be a continuation of the first instance of the song. So my favorite track on here is the first track on side B, which is US 80s 90s. It's got some blippy synthesizers and some kind of jarring guitar lines that stop and start. Really difficult to say what this album is like unless you hear it. It's got some great song titles. So Terry Waite Says, SEZ, Bournemouth Runner, which is about somebody who stole the backdrop at a fall concert. So then Marky Smith decided to write a really long song about that and put it on this album. On the A side, Dr. Faustus, which has Brick Smith occasionally shouting out Dr. Faustus or Banana. And then you've got Gross Chapelle British Grenadiers, which is another catchy long song. So I really I don't know exactly how to explain this album. There's an American version of this album. Lord knows what they were thinking by releasing this in the United States, but the American version does have a few singles that were contemporaneous, like Hey Luciani and there's a Ghost in My House, which are great songs. I used to have a copy of that one. It was a little bit rough, so I decided just to get rid of it and keep my Beggar's Banquet UK pressing, which has appreciated quite a bit in the last 3 decades since I bought it. Don't think I need to really say much about this. I will give it a thumbs up. Staying in the core collection, one of my few fall LPs that I own. Good stuff. The next of these 2 fall albums that I'm going to be reviewing, or taking a look at anyway, is the 1988 album Ben Sinister. And I just noticed something interesting about it tonight. which is that it is on translucent brown vinyl. I don't know if you can see that, but there it is. Looks pretty cool and it sounds really good. Well, part 2 in this twofer is this album, The Friends Experiment. In another, well, this is a late 80s fall album. It's got a beautiful cover. This is a US pressing on Beggar's Banquet. It's got this lovely gold stamp on the back, promo stamp, which means they weren't supposed to sell it to me, but they nicely did. I think I might have paid about $1.50 for this. Maybe the same for Ben Sinister, I don't remember, but I seem to recall that this was purchased at a closeout sale at a record store in Orlando in around 1990, 1991. So this album had probably been sitting around in the bins for 3 years, and they finally said, hey, somebody's got to get this thing out of here, so we're going to mark it down to $1.50. Anyway, it's worth a lot more than that now. This is one of the more catchy fall albums, I think. The song I'm playing right now is the first track on side 1 called Friends. It's actually kind of sad. Marky Smith just keeps saying that he can count his friends on one hand. So, yeah, that's kind of a sad sentiment, I think. Carrie Bagman has a great chorus that's just, Carrie Bagman, I love Carrie Bagman, over and over again. Get a Hotel kind of goes along in the same vein. Get a hotel today. Again, these songs are just kind of divorced from context. Don't really know what they're about. A lot of times, the only thing that really permeates my consciousness is the chorus, and that's okay with me because they have such great choruses. Now, the fourth track on side 1 is a Kinks cover, Victoria. One of the best alternative band covers of a classic 60s tune that I can think of from the 1980s. Then the first side ends with Athlete Cured, which has somebody reciting different words in the background, and I believe that the word banana comes up again, just like it did on Ben Sinister, so we have maybe a little bit of a theme going here. Moving on to side 2 of The Friends Experiment, which begins with the excellent track Hit the North. I believe it was a single for the fall, and I guess for this US release they appended it to the album and made it the first track on side 2, which is kind of strange. It seems like it would have made a good lead-off single on side 1, but who knows what the thinking was there. In These Times is another good track, the second song. The Steak Place, the third song, is one that I remember from spinning about 3 decades ago. More of an acoustic strumming number. Again, the repeated chorus, The Steak Place. Then it moves on to Bremen Nacht, which has some German phrases in it that Marky Smith mangles horribly. In fact, it's pronounced Bremen Nacht, but he keeps saying Bremen Nacht over and over again, and keeps talking about how he needs to get out of Bremen. Turns out the song was about a terrible experience they had playing at a polytechnic there in 1987. He felt nauseated. It was just a really horrible time for him, and when he went to sleep and woke up the next morning, he had impressions, 4-finger impressions around his leg that he thought looked like the impressions of a child's hand. And he also made a possible connection with the firebombing of Bremen by the British, and the fact that there were a couple of concentration camps located there during World War II. Really interesting song. It's one of those cases where I just was curious to look up the lyrics to see if they were random musings or if they did really follow any kind of cohesive thread, and it turns out that they do. So a twofer from the fall, The Friends Experiment and Ben Sinister. I give a thumbs up to both albums. They're great documents of the 80s from this wonderful band. And hope you go out and check out the Falls music if you've never heard them before. And I will be continuing the core collection with Faust next time. So if you're a fan of the German avant-garde band Faust, be sure to tune in. And please subscribe to my channel.